Hello my lovelies, I am so honoured to welcome you into my home today. This little video was going to be something different entirely, but then I thought to myself, why not take things a bit slower today and create a little corner of peace together? So grab yourself a hot drink and let's chat. Come on then, good girl. You're so cute. You are so cute. Because as some of you may know from a video that I did last week where I gave you a general life update, my world has felt a little unsettled recently, and I'm well aware that that sometimes happens. There are moments in our lives where it feels as though our very foundation is crumbling from beneath us. Things can feel senseless, and I don't know about you, but sometimes I desperately want my story to turn to the next page, but I'm actually stuck in a chapter that I don't really like. Basically, it's super hard sometimes to live gently in a world or schedule that doesn't feel built for gentleness. What are you meowing at? But today, I hope that you and I can find some small ways to foster a little bit of inner peace. Now, what I will say is that I'm no kind of expert, but I have recently been drawing a lot of inspiration from others, and so I jotted my favourite tidbits down. But another point I'd like to make is that today's tips aren't about escaping or pretending. They're about practicing and consciously choosing to protect ourselves from certain stresses and anxieties of everyday life. And as much as I'm sure that sometimes we might have a real urge to cart ourselves off to an abandoned log cabin in the middle of nowhere, I think a way to help us feel more anchored is to curate a space without needing more space. And I wrote here, a soft landing. And this could be any kind of space. It could be a little reading nook. It could be a shelf with all your favourite things, a desk, a garden bench. And if you don't have a garden, well, you can surround yourself with nature via houseplants. And if you don't look out your window and see beautiful rolling countryside views, then why not display peaceful artwork? Basically, pick a small pocket of your home that is just for you and can act as a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, why not fill it with a soundtrack that brings you comfort, whether that be music or wind chimes, and dress in a way that makes you feel you. You know, because in your home, you're not going to receive any judgment. You know, I don't live in a manor house, but that doesn't stop me dressing like Lady of the Manor. And then I popped down that maybe we could do the same with our digital space and curate our home online by finding communities that you feel really connected to and muting notifications that aren't completely essential, lowering your general screen time and consumption. And that doesn't mean that we can't stay connected, but perhaps we could do this at a set time, like an hour each evening and then off. Oh, I'm really quite bad at this next one, but as we're on this journey together, I still wrote it down. Say no. Build your boundaries and try and not make yourself ever accessible, which is hilarious for me to say because I literally do the opposite. And I often quote Alice from Alice in Wonderland, who said that she gives herself very good advice, but she very seldom follows it. But listen closely, and I'm listening as well. You don't have to say yes to things that you don't want to. And by harnessing the power of saying no, you can say yes to the things that truly fulfill you. And the people. There was this line that I saw in this short video that randomly came up on my feed, and frustratingly, I can't find the original creator because it was shared by a different creator. But it really struck me, and I think it sums up what I'm trying to say perfectly. So let's take a look.
Love deeply, but not blindly. You can have a soft heart and sharp boundaries.
And I also jotted down on my phone some helpful ways for you to say no that you might be able to use in real life situations. I don't know, let's hear them. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I think I need to focus on my personal commitments right now. Oh, now's not a good time for me, but can you keep me in mind for next time? I'd love to, but I'll have to decline this time, but is there anyone else that you've thought to ask? I don't think I'm the right person for that task, but I really appreciate that you thought of me. I don't know, maybe in real life they won't translate in the same way. Seeing them written down, they sound kind of formal, but maybe you can use those terms and kind of edit them in a way that might make it feel easier for you to turn someone down. Saying no isn't a rejection. It is simply a selection, and it doesn't make you a bad person. And please remember, rest is not earned through exhaustion. It's a right. So, say no. I feel like I'm doing a say no to drugs special. Now, this next one I came up with all on my little own. Well, sort of. I mean, you've probably heard advice similar to this, but this is how I would word it. And this is my version of it. Why not try doing something that is totally separate from the modern world? Something frozen in the past that cannot be touched by your current anxieties, because those anxieties are literally from another time entirely. Let me explain. For example, watching an old show or an old film, and no, the CRT television isn't essential for this, or settling down with a puzzle, cooking a nostalgic recipe from childhood to simply enjoy. An activity that feels intentional, but also just easy, and not even necessarily a hobby, but something that's just gloriously pointless and comes from an era that brings you an inherent sense of comfort. Because nothing we do needs to be perfect, and as Bob Ross once perfectly said, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. And finally, protect your solitude. Gift yourself just a small moment to gather your thoughts. Another sterling quote here, this time from Mr. Rogers: solitude is different from loneliness, and it doesn't have to be a lonely kind of thing. And this might just look like 3 minutes in the morning with a hot drink, or taking a walk without headphones, but it's just a slice of your day where you prioritize yourself. And usually I would recommend doing this in a quiet and calm environment, not something with loads of distractions and noise. Oh, the sun's come out. The storm has passed. I don't know, these might all sound super obvious, but I do think that we sometimes genuinely forget to put ourselves first and try our hardest to curate a life that we don't feel the need to escape from. And one thing that I've learned from various inspirations, loved ones, dear friends, and my community is that peace isn't passive. It's something that we have to work very hard to create. But we're doing our best. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.